is a story on how my in-laws wanted me to die.
So earlier this morning, I just decided to casually stroll on Threads, and I came across a post, and this post was basically asking like, hey guys, let's be real. Does prayer like really work? Like, if so, tell me your story kind of thing. Like, tell me if prayer really worked for you. And y'all, when I tell you, this opened a can of worms for me, because in that moment, like, it just brought me to one of the most pivotal, groundbreaking, craziest moments in my life. And basically what I replied was, I said, when my husband passed away, and he passed away in a car crash, my husband passed away in a car crash, I had just got the news, the police were at my house. I was hysterically, uncontrollably, inconsolably crying my eyes out, screaming, calling anyone I could, and I called his mom. And his mom, verbatim, word for word, as God is my witness, said, ugh, you pray too much. You pray too much. It was supposed to be you. You pray too much. We have been taking your pictures to witch doctors and covens, but you pray too much. That's what my husband's mother said to me, in reaction to me telling her that her son had just passed in a car accident. That was the first words. Not, oh no, oh my God, I'm screaming, nothing like that. Ugh, you pray too much. It was supposed to be you. You pray too much. When I tell you guys I cannot make this up, I cannot make this up. I literally have my family that was there that witnessed it. I have my sister's friend that was there that witnessed it. I cannot make this up. I later then found out everything started unraveling because he passed away. Now I have access to his phone. Now I have access to everything, right? I later found out that basically the whole MO of my husband marrying me was not only to destroy me and kill me, of course, but to make me more of a single mom than I already was. So his family felt like he married down because he married a single mother. At the time, I had one kid, an 8-year-old, and he had none. And they felt like a bachelor like him and a man that didn't have kids, how dare he marry a woman, a peasant who had a kid? And so his whole MO was to use me for citizenship, cripple me by making me an even bigger single mom, like by me saying that I mean like with more kids, because at the time I only had one kid and I was a single mom, so I wasn't really bogged down or anything like that. So his goal was to kind of bog me down with kids, leave me for dead, and get his citizenship. That was their whole MO. Leading up to my husband's death, because I pray so much, thank you, I literally could feel the spirit of death. I'm so not joking. And if I find the text messages, I will insert it. I literally could feel the spirit of death. My family could feel it. All of us could feel it. So we started praying. We started anointing like the house, the cars. We started anointing our children. We started everything. Like, we could feel it. We literally could feel it, but we didn't know where it was coming from or who it was for, or if it was just an attack, if it was warfare, whatever the case may be. My family could feel it. The day before my husband passed, we got in a huge argument. And the reason why we got in an argument was because I kept having a feeling that something bad was going to happen. So my natural instinct as a wife was to try to safeguard my home and protect it by praying, by fasting, by reading the Bible, and then also preventative. So for instance, I was telling him, I was like, let's stay home. Don't go out. Let's stay home. And I felt the urge so strongly to try to make him stay home, to the point where, and I know I'm wrong for this, I took his keys. This was about a couple days before he passed. I took his keys and his wallet and hid it, because that's how strongly I felt like something bad was going to happen. Finally, after arguing and stuff like that, now let's fast forward to the day before he passed. He came home like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, pissy drunk, like just gone. I literally told him, I was like, why do you keep doing this? You're married. I'm so sorry. He did not come home 3 a.m. He came home 6 a.m. I said, why do you keep doing this? You have a family, like you're ruining your family. This is not how a married man acts. Da 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 da. He literally looked me in the eye and told me that I'm his enemy of progress and that I'm trying to stop him from success and that I basically don't want to see him win. And I don't know what it was about those words that like hurt me so bad that I will never forget. I was standing in front of our double doors in our room, and a tear just dropped down my eye, and I literally just took my ring off and I gave it to him and I said, I'm done. I'm done. Then when he took the ring and walked away, I literally told God, I said, God, I wash my hands with this relationship, with this marriage. I'm done. I'm done. Fast forward the next day, the day he passed, I woke up at 6 a.m. and I got my daughter and I said, you know what? I'm going to start living for myself, pouring into myself and my children. So I got up, I got my daughter dressed. This is 6 a.m. I got my daughter dressed and I said I'm going to have a girls' day. This was also the same weekend of my sister's birthday dinner. So we were like, we're going to meet. I told my sister, I was like, we're going to meet up. We're going to do our nails. We're going to go to the mall. I'm going to live my life. I'm tired of trying to protect somebody who doesn't want to be protected. Sorry, my story is all over the place, but I keep remembering things as I'm telling you. So a week prior to that, because my husband kept going out and just like coming home pissy drunk, coming home the wee hours of the morning, it was so bad. He was coming home literally like as I was putting my kids on the bus type of coming home. So anyways, I confided in my pastor and I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore. Like, I don't know what to do anymore. We're in counseling, we're in therapy, all the things, nothing is working. My pastor literally said, he was like, Nina, he's like, there's something outside that is calling him, and until it gets him, he's not going to stop. He was like, you have to just live your life. He said, make your own money, take care of your kids, and that's all you can do. And so anyways, that happened, right? So that was a week prior. My sister and I are out and about. We're like trying to, just make the best of everything. It's her birthday dinner weekend. I'm with my daughter. We go get our nails done. When I tell you that spirit of like just heaviness and like the spirit of death that I told you we were feeling was so heavy, my sister kept saying it. She's like, I feel a heaviness. I feel a heaviness. I feel like she kept saying that she like literally felt like immense heaviness. Like nothing we were doing that day would go right. Our nails, the nails weren't working out. We tried to go to the mall. It wasn't working out. Nothing was working out. Nothing at all was working out. It was just a airy, horrible feeling, like presence that we could feel. And so we were like, okay, let's just forget about it. So I got my daughter. This is around like 5 o'clock now. I'm like, okay, I'm going to just go home. So as I'm going home, my husband calls me and, he has an attitude because we got in a fight the night before. I took my ring off. He's like, what's up? I'm like, what's up? He was like, I'm going out. Everything in me wanted to start fighting. You're going out. I wanted to do that. Something said, shh. Remember, you washed your hands. So I literally said, okay. And then he was like, okay. I was like, yeah, okay. And then he was like, I'll be back home by 8 o'clock. I said, okay. He got off the phone. I went home. 8 o'clock came and went. He didn't come. At 8:14, he texted me and he was like, are the kids sleeping? I said, no. Didn't hear from him again. At 11 o'clock, I wrote him and I said, why do you always do this? You lied again. You said that you were going to be home. He was already gone since 9:45. He already passed away since 9:45. Literally 20 minutes later after I wrote that message, right after I wrote that message, I said, Lord, please guide and protect him with the blood of Jesus, and laid my head down. Okay, part two. So I message and I was like, why do you always lie? Da 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 da. I was like, but you know what? It's cool. This is 11 something at night. I say a prayer before I lay down and put my baby in the bed. And I say, Lord, please guide and protect him with the blood of Jesus. And I lay my head down. 20 minutes, I don't even think it was 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, there's lights. I'm talking about, I don't even know what kind of flashlights they had. Lights glaring in my house, glaring. Like, it looked like, I don't even know how to just, like, lit up my whole house. And the biggest bang I could ever think of, you could ever imagine, on my door. And I don't want to trigger anyone, so I will share the video. So I will insert the video. I don't know if you guys can handle that or not, but I'll insert the video.
Cobb County Police. Hey, sorry to bother you.
We're looking. I'm sorry. We're looking for Agbega. Tam Agbega.
Yeah, that's my husband. He's not here though.
Okay. What does he drive?
I'm sorry. I'm startled. He drives a Mercedes. Is he okay?
Okay. Do you mind if we step inside?
Oh my God! Please don't tell me bad news.
It'd be better if we step inside.
When they said that we're gonna have to come in, literally every movie that I could think of, like where like the army people will come to your door and basically say they need to come in, and they have a notepad, like where they tell you that your spouse passed. Every clip I could think of came through my head, and I was like, my husband died. Immediately knew it. I immediately lost my damn mind. Like immediately lost my mind. Like they didn't even have to say. And then I got so upset that I literally started screaming at them. I'm like, get out, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying. Like, I didn't want to believe it. There's nothing that could have mentally prepared me for that being what they were going to say. I thought they were going to say he was drunk driving, he got in trouble, we arrested him, something, anything but that. So I'm screaming my eyes out, I'm crying. My son is like in shock. So I was so inconsolable, they couldn't even talk to me. They had to talk to my son. They gave my son the card to like I think it's the coroner or like the people who have my husband's body. And this happened on a weekend. I believe it was October 7th. I think it was a Friday or Saturday. It was either way, it was a weekend, which was the worst time for anything to happen because literally nothing opened till Monday. So it was literally just their word. It was just what they said to me, and that's it. I couldn't verify nothing. I couldn't call nothing. I couldn't call nowhere. Nothing. Y'all, when I tell you, I literally would not wish this on my worst nightmare. On my worst enemy, I wouldn't. And so I'm crying, I'm screaming, everything. I'm calling everyone, not even being considerate that it's 12 o'clock in the night. Nothing. Another crazy thing is my 6-year-old, my now 6-year-old, who at the time I think was 3 or 4. I dropped him off at my mom's house that morning before I went out with my sister, just to kind of give my husband a little bit of a break because we have 4 kids. So I was like, okay, you stay with the baby and the oldest. I'll take Maverick over to my mom's, and then Lilia will come with me. He was supposed to pick up my son on the way home. Like, you guys are not going to sit here and tell me that God is not a good God. And so all this is running through my head. I'm calling everyone. I'm calling his friends that he went out with. He literally died within 45 minutes of leaving his friends. Not even 45 minutes. When I got his phone, he was still at the club, like around 8 something. He died at 9:45. Within, just like that. And I just feel like when I found out about everything, it was so hard to come to grips with, because at first I blamed myself. I'm like, Nina, you're a praying woman. You know the Lord. You cover your home. You fast. You pray. How did this happen? How did this happen? And I wasn't mad at God, but I was mad at myself. I'm like, you're supposed to be able to be watchful and vigilant and know all these things. And I was crying my heart out to God. I'm like, God, how? How? Not saying that I'm above anything or I'm exempt, but I know you. I serve you. I pray every day. I cover my husband. I cover all this stuff, right? I was like, God, show me what happened. Show me what happened. And literally, God, that night, I want to say it was like the third night, God literally showed me a vision of a huge door. And in front of the huge door was me and him. And this is literally what was happening. Me and him, we were closing the door. The minute the door will close and I would get ready to lock it, it would swing back open. Like, swing back open. So then me and him would close it again. Then when I would get ready to lock it, it would swing back open. And when I woke up from that vision, when I tell you, God explained to me exactly what that vision meant. In the door being closed and then swinging back open was God telling me that my prayers, my vigilance, my relationship with him was me closing the door to the demonic realm and things happening to my family and all that stuff. But then when I would try to lock it, it would swing back open. Do you know why? Because the things that my husband was partaking in that I knew nothing about, which was infidelity. I did not know my husband was cheating until after he passed, and I found out everything, which I'll explain in part 3. My husband was this is basically what was happening. He was acting like he was covering the family with me. We were going to church, we were going to counseling, praying. He was definitely abusive and stuff like that, but I felt like, okay, we can get through this, in my stupid thinking. I thought that we could get through it through going to counseling and just God can deliver him, all the things, right? So that was me thinking that we're closing the door. He was opening the door with the things that he was doing and partaking in and indulging in. He was living a sinful lifestyle that I knew nothing about. And so I'll make the part 3 now and ready to explain what I found after he passed. All right, so this is part 3, and this is what I found out after he passed. So after like I told you guys, he passed on a weekend, so there was no answers for me, there was no direction for me, there was no nothing. It was just me with my kids and my family and grief. That was it. No answers, no nothing. So my first stage was denial. I was like, they lying. My husband didn't die. He escaped the car or something. Like I was making up anything humanly possible for this not be the truth. Everything humanly possible for this to not be the truth. I told myself that God is gonna resurrect him. I started looking up articles about people who were dead, but then they came back to life. I started looking up all kinds of stuff. I refused to believe. Monday came around, and now it's time to call the coroner, call the tow company where they towed his car to. And I don't know if I elaborated, but basically all that they told me at that time, what? Okay. All that I was told at that time was that he got in a car accident, a single car crash. They said that his car crashed into an electric pole and a tree. So I didn't have any other answers. Like, my family tried to go. He passed away literally 2 minutes from the house. And crashed into a school, not the actual school building, but like a school property. And so I didn't have any answer. So everything just sounded shady. I'm like, a single car crash. Nobody was chasing him. Nobody ran him off the road. Like, just all the things. And so Monday came and I had to call where his body was. And I apologize, guys, if I'm not using the right words. Like, I think it's coroner. And I called them and they confirmed that his body was there. When I tell y'all, that was the hardest pill to swallow. Like, I couldn't even grasp what she was telling me. Then I had to call the tow company to come identify his car and take his belongings. And y'all, this is where the start of my second grief happened. At this point, prior to me going to the car, this was my thought process. The love of my life died. We didn't have a perfect relationship, but we were working on it. And I loved him. Like, that was my stance, right? And like I said in the first video, his mom literally told me, like, it was supposed to be you. It was supposed to be you, but you prayed too much. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't think that I processed that well in the moment because I was so in shock that my husband died. Like, I heard what she said, but I wasn't really, like, I didn't really digest it. I was so distraught and mentally gone that I couldn't even, like, sit with what she was saying. I got a call. I couldn't even sit with what she was saying. So anyways, now it's time for me to go to the car to identify the car and, like, get his stuff and stuff. I don't know if I'm going to insert pictures. Like I said, I'm trying to be sensitive and I'm trying to think about the future. I know that the internet is forever and I know my kids may see these things and I love them dearly. They love their dad dearly. And I'm just trying to do this in a way that is respectful and still give God the glory and still do what it is that God is asking me to do and tell my story about my life and what happened to me and what God brought me through. So I may not insert the clip. I may do it. I don't know. I'm gonna try. But I went to identify the car and it was a complete horror scene. The whole front of the vehicle was caved in. They had to cut him out the car. So right, like, perfectly on the floor in the passenger floor was his phone and the hat he was wearing. So I grabbed that and I put it, like, in my bag. And for some reason, something told me, check the trunk. The trunk was completely fine, completely intact. Something said, check the trunk. And I'm like, why? So I did it. And I checked the trunk. I'm rummaging through the trunk. I see, like, clothes, shoes. I'm like, okay, whatever. Somebody said, no, check the trunk. So I'm like, okay. So I opened the spare tire area and I lift up the spare tire. This man had literal condoms taped to the spare tire, the bottom of the spare tire, and a cage, like a barricaded, like, flat cage with condoms in it. Then underneath that, he had, like, a crumpled, like, dirty woman's dress in it. And then he had an apartment lease, like, where it looks like he, like, not an apartment lease, like an apartment brochure, like, kind of thing. Y'all, my heart, like, I can't even tell you my heart went to my butt because it didn't even, my soul left my body. Like, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was sick. I was literally sick to my stomach. At the time that I went there, I had on our wedding bands on my necklace. Like, I was feeling so, like, oh my God, the love of my life. Oh my. When I saw that, it awakened the most craziest anger in me that I have ever experienced, to the point where I was scared that I was possessed. Like, I'm not joking. It took me down a rabbit hole. So I saw that. So now I'm like, okay, I know there's stuff in the phone. I went in his phone. Women left, right, and center. oh, you should have came home to me. Oh, da 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 da. Like literally to the point where I started replying to women. I'm like, you're number 5. You're number 4. You're number 6. You're number 8. Like it was that many women. And how he was getting away with this while we were married, let me tell you. Before he would get in the house, he would put all of the women on the block list. He would put all of them on the block list. And then the women that he will leave on or like not block, that I guess he felt like he just needed to be in contact with them, he would label them dupes of his friends' names. So like if he has a friend named Christopher, he will name them Christopher, like Christopher second phone or something like that. Or he'll misspell their name just a little bit. So that way when we're in the car and it's date night or we're with the kids and it pops up on the Apple Play, I'm like, oh, it's Christopher. Christopher is texting and calling. And because he abruptly died and he didn't get a chance to put his people on the block list, all of them were coming through. And when I tell you guys, bro, every ounce of, oh my God, my husband, gone, robbed, stolen from me. My grief process was completely hijacked. I didn't get a chance to even grieve who I thought I was married to. Just too much truth was being thrown in my face. I contacted the women. I wasn't like on no kind of crazy, like, I was just like, can you tell me the truth? Like, what happened? How long were you guys together? Some women were saying a year. Some women were saying 2 years. Some women were saying all kinds of stuff. And they all knew about me. Some of them I was blocked on social media. And like when I tried to look them up, they were all following him under a fictitious account like that he had, because he claims that he didn't have social media. All of it. And when I tell you guys I struggled with anger so bad, I didn't eat for like, I'm so serious, I'm not even playing, I didn't eat for like a month, to the point where I developed stomach ulcers from it. And y'all, my anger got so bad to the point where I literally was contemplating calling the gravesite and be like, dig him up. I want to harm him. Like, that's how bad it was. I'm being so honest. And that's how I knew. I was like, Nina, you're not going to survive this if you don't surrender this to God. You have to. This is too much. This is too much. And so I started like doing things like boxing, working out, and that's what started my weight loss journey. And I ended up losing 50 pounds, and that's what kind of catapulted my healing. And I started going to therapy and all the things. And in part 4, I'll just explain kind of my healing journey on everything like.
For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers. Therefore take up the whole armor of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 12, 18.